Here we go. Let's do this.
We've got one life, one shot. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Addicted to Betterment, a podcast to inspire us to keep going, to try something new, to dream, to think big, bigger, to overcome. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Hey, it's Nikki back with David on Addicted to Betterment. We're on a roll with some new content. And today we are talking about the simple truth that what we plant is what we get. David was just reminding me, soil isn't judgmental. And I was like, wait, what? Oh, okay. So soil, if we plant a tomato seed, we're not going to get a watermelon. Right? Like the soil is the soil, and what we plant in that soil is what we are going to get. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Let's dive into this. So how do we produce more of what we want in life? Going back to this core truth that what we plant is what we get. So David, thank you for bringing this topic to us. I know you have a favorite story that maybe we're going to kick off with about the bamboo tree.
Well, I mean, just that truth alone is so powerful. You know, so many times, me, you, all of us, you know, we're guilty of complaining about what our life looks like now, or, you know, how our relationship is, or how our finances are, how our work, the situation, or the results, you know, in business development, you're getting the results from the work that you've done. Right. And so, you know, this idea that sometimes we expect something different than what we planted. It's actually comical. You know, it's like, man, I can't believe I'm experiencing this. It's like, well, those were the seeds that you planted 2 years ago. And now you're just seeing them, you know, and so you mentioned the Chinese bamboo tree. It's one of my favorite stories, and it inspires me under most conditions. You know, it's one of high inspiration that the Chinese bamboo tree, once it's planted, you don't see anything for 5 years. You water it, you nurture it, you give it sunlight, all the things, take care of it, as I know how plants are taken care of, take care of them all the time, you know, around our house. And it actually makes my head hurt to think about, what if these flowers that we have all over our house, what if I watered them and everything for 5 years and didn't see anything? Holy cow. I can't imagine I would do it in the third year. I'd be like, screw this, I'm done. But the Chinese bamboo tree, for 5 years, you don't see anything. Then after 5 years, something crazy happens. And suddenly within 6 weeks, it can grow up to 80 feet tall.
That's crazy.
So, you know, this seeing what you planted, I mean, it might go for a while and you're thinking, oh, I'm not getting any results from what I planted. Well, it's coming.
So Betterment is like bamboo. You may feel like whatever you're working on, it's like not showing up and manifesting yet, but you're strengthening those unseen roots when you're working on your betterment. I really like that. And you know what it made me think about is podcasting. So I don't know, David, if you've heard me with the statistic that I learned and our team is kind of obsessed with right now. I feel like I talk about it all day, every day on meetings. So podcasting is a lot like this bamboo tree story. There's 3.5 million-ish podcasts in the world right now. So 3.5 million. Only 14% of podcasts are active monthly. Only 14% of podcasts are putting out an episode every month, because I think people don't realize the lift. It's a lot of work. Thank goodness we have an amazing production team. And I'm in this business, right, of like production. I'm like, one time someone said to me, they're like, oh, I know production. And I was like, I'm always going to say it like that, because it is a lot. Production. You use all the syllables. But most people don't understand the lift of podcasting. They don't understand that the results that you create come from a lot of episodes and cultivation and building an audience, and then things you just watch this like arrow, like your hat. If you're watching on a video, you see David's hat that says arrow, and then it starts to spike up. So similar there.
Well, I'm grateful I have a great podcast host to work alongside, and who has great production. So I get to just play along and participate. But, you know, when you were talking about that, you think about all the work that goes into podcasting. I mean, the preparation, the consistency, the commitment. It's like there's a lot of days that, you know, and I can't even imagine for you, because you're on tons of podcasts. I get to be on Addicted to Betterment. So that's it for me. You're on countless podcasts every single week. And it's like, can't imagine the preparation, the commitment. I actually, even as I say it out loud, I can't imagine how many times you've thought, I do not want to record this episode today, or I don't want to talk about this subject, but yet you do it. And it's like everything else, staying committed to watering, to getting the watering, doing the things, getting the sunlight to eventually see the massive growth in a short period of time. And I don't know how, if that's how podcasting works, but it's that consistent effort that goes into it, so that even though when it doesn't feel like it doesn't seem like it, you don't see it, the results are on the way.
Exactly. So now let's tie this into where AI fits in. So input in equals input out, right? That is a basic principle with AI. If you are very general with what you feed into AI, you're going to get very general outcomes, and everyone's going to know that you're just using AI, right? But if you're very thoughtful and prepare, and you teach AI the things, the outcome that you're going to get is pretty darn savvy. Like, it really helps you to elevate yourself and be a better thought leader and be just more smarter with your time. But based on what you put in is either going to make you look like you were just shortcutting, or it's going to make you look a lot smarter. So let's try this. Basically, David brought this topic around what you plant and this neutrality of no judgment of the soil, which like stopped me for a minute. I was like, wait, what? Just soil, not judgmental? Now I get it, right? Like, what we put in the soil is not going to change. It's what we plant is what we're going to get. It's very neutral, and loved it. I was like, let's go down this and like tie in bamboo. So then brought this together with AI and some GPTs that I've created here. And get this, David. So here are practical applications that we're going to break down. Number 1, audit your seeds. Audit your seeds. Number 2, choose your crop before you plant. Number 3, practice bamboo patience. Number 4, protect your soil, because I know we've been talking about how important that is. Thank you. Shout out to Taylor Swift and all the Swifties out there. She's got that big emphasis out in the world right now that we believe so much, not even being necessarily Swifties, but I will have to say, like, after watching that episode with, her now fiance and soon to be brother-in-law, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm a Swiftie all of a sudden, because I love so many of the teachings on there. So we're going to dig into protect your soil. And then number 5 is celebrate the early sprouts. So we're going to dig right in, but this is what AI does to help you when you put good stuff in. It really helps you like bring all this together. So looking at auditing your seeds, like, what seeds am I planting daily? Let's talk about that.
Well, first, you threw me a little curveball. I was starting to get a little nervous when you started talking about AI. I thought, oh man, how am I going to contribute here? Secondly, when you threw in Taylor Swift, I'm like, oh, now I'm really out here in left field. So thank you for bringing that back home. You had me very nervous there for a minute. And to your point, it's like I said earlier, Nikki, I mean, we're in business, and both of us are heavily involved in business and love it. And what we know is there are times and seasons where you feel like you're working your tail off and you're grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and not seeing these big results that you envisioned, whether it's having the conversations or whatever. And I know for myself, you need some people around you to be like, hey, keep your head up, stay in the grind, that sort of thing. So I'm sure we're going to get there with one of those points that you just rattled off. But
that would be in the category of practice bamboo patience.
Okay, I will get there then. But and so what happens is when you think, what am I planting? What am I planting? Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to get. And I'll use it in a relationship. I'm passionate about relationships and how I show up and how my brothers show up in relationships. And so in a relationship like ours, if I consistently plant love, I consistently plant grace, I can consistently plant those characteristics, what I'm hoping to get out of the relationship, that's what's eventually, if I just stay consistent, or if I consistently plant something completely opposite of that, I have to know that that's what's eventually going to come. It's in business, and I'll tie it to one more thing, is my fitness. Listen, my good friends, if you've been on this show, follow this show much, my friend John Neaters, and I love to chop up nutrition, and he loves to poke holes in my nutrition, and so do you, and I appreciate it very much because I need it. But at the end of the day, if I don't go to the gym, if I sleep in and I don't eat right and I do those sort of things, I have to know that I'm not going to be that fit as I want to be. And so, you don't see those results. Let's be real. If I go and have a Pop-Tart today, which sounds really good right now, and I do that, stop laughing. If I do that consistently, then, I'm not going to see massive change in my body today because I had a Pop-Tart. And I'm not going to see a massive change in my body because of the last 3 months that I've been working hard, traveling out at the lake, and I haven't been to the gym as much. And so, I can notice small changes, but they're not massive. Fast forward 5 years, now those results are going to be significantly more. I'm going to see what I've planted. And so it's, paying attention to what I'm planting today is what I'm going to expect in 5 years.
Yeah, so good. So audit your seeds. And what does that really mean? Let's break that down for a minute. I know, David, you have a saying with the boys that comes from a Toby Mac song, speak life. So what is it that what are the words that we're using? The words that we're using about ourselves or to others, it's an energy thing. It is either building us or tearing us down. And that would be an example of seeds. Or let's say you are focused on what you don't have, bad seeds, versus gratitude, journaling, or meditation daily. Those are seeds of abundance, right? So the seeds that we're planting, could be how we are journaling daily or doing, meditation or taking breaks to get away from the computer screen or what we are eating, whatever. It's those daily efforts of the seeds that we're planting, doing a reflection on auditing your seeds, and it all starts there. Before we go on to choosing your crop, what would you like to add there?
Man, if I feel like all the points that you created and they're all you, so I'm just playing along with you, but are probably going to be equally powerful. But I'm going to say this one feels like the most powerful because, and what comes to mind is a friend of mine last week. I'll give a shout out to my friend Steve White. Steve and I were having breakfast and he shared with me this note on his phone, and I've stolen it. I've worked on it every single day since then. But he identified what are the daily habits that I know I have to do to be the best version of myself personally. And what are the best daily habits that I have to do to be the best version of myself professionally? And it's interesting, as we were going through those together, auditing our seeds, what are we planting every day? And I was looking at that list and I actually had this moment of like, man, I needed to audit the seeds that I'm planting because I recognize several areas of gaps. I'm like, damn it, I got to work on that. I got to work on that professionally, personally. And so, man, the best way is to just write it down. What do I need to do to be the very best version of myself personally, professionally? What does that look like? And then audit it. Look at it objectively and be like, oop, deficit, credit, and just take that's the best way I know to look at that.
That's good. So when we choose our crop before we plant, we are setting the intention, building the vision, or manifesting that outcome. It's like the desired harvest, right? So we're not just planting seeds and then waiting for the bamboo to shoot up 80 feet. There's a part in between where we are choosing. What comes to mind is Mike Dooley with thoughts become things, choose the good ones. So it's going to become the outcome, whatever we're focused on. So it's the same thing as like, oh, I got this new car and nobody has it. And all of a sudden you see it. It's like, it's because of that relativity of whatever that science is that John Neters could tell me the term for right now, if he were on here with us right now. But we are deciding the outcome and focused on the outcome beyond that seed. And that is such an important part before we practice the patience and continue watering and everything. We've got to, set our eyes on that desired harvest, have that vision, and continue to revisit that every single day. And I know you could talk forever about this part, David. So yeah, tell us. He's like the best manifester I know. He learned this stuff ever since he watched that Secret the night when I fell asleep. I was like, yeah, have you ever seen this before? It's such a great book and movie and whatever. And it was the first time I'd ever seen it. And I this is a different husband. Like, I don't even know. And now I just learned all these manifestation tips from him. So go ahead, David, tell us more about like desired harvest stuff.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to add. You killed that. But, it's not, we think of what we're experiencing in life as these big pivotal moments, and it's not. It's these small moments that we're choosing. I'll use my kids. So, our kids, I have 4 boys, and as you and I know, we love all of them and they're amazing, but they all have their different challenges. And I, as a parent, regularly, when I'm dialing the number and then maybe there's a challenge, maybe there's a situation or whatever, I'm instantly choosing how I'm going to show up. And I'm choosing how I'm going to show up based on what I want to accomplish. What kind of tree do I want to see in 5 years? What do I want to see down the road? And if I choose that in our relationship, how I show up for us or at work or in business, I'm choosing how I show up. Now, we have real emotions and thoughts that are real. And we often don't choose how we feel about something, but we do get to choose how we react to it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I get to choose based on what I want out of a relationship with you. I get to choose how I'm going to show up in the moment based on what I'm trying to see grow. Now, I don't have to tell you, there's many moments that I choose something that's not what I'm looking for. I'm like, no, I don't want to see that grow. Please don't grow. But, at the end of the day, we get to choose, based on what we're trying to grow, we get to choose what we plant, what that looks like. And so, it's showing up with intention and trying to, in the moment, often course correct and say, whoa. I'm planting onions. I was hoping to grow flowers. Wait. I don't want to plant any more onion seeds. So I'm going to back away and I'm going to replant flowers because that's what I want to see.
Okay. So we have talked about auditing our seeds. Like, what seeds am I planting daily? And then really the desired harvest is that vision for where I'm going. I see the destination and I am consistently vibrating at that level of like, I want to be that, right? We know where we're going. And then there's this big gap between planting and harvesting to get to those results. And we all want those exponential results of like 80 feet tall and all this stuff. And the bamboo lesson is that growth is often invisible for a long time. It's like there's no overnight, success. And to realize the habits that have to continue day after day, week after week, that many I miss, right? But like, I'm reminding myself right now, okay, yep, that's part of it. So yes, I can know the seeds and I can have the understood vision and consistently work on it, but I have to regularly practice and be patient through that because it's not going to happen overnight or over a week or whatever. And so that could look like the consistent eating efforts, the consistent exercise efforts, the consistent saving efforts, the consistent writing efforts, the consistent recording efforts. David, talk more about, practicing that bamboo patience.
Well, I don't know how much I have to add because as you were talking, I had 3 gaps of those consistent efforts in my own life. And I'm like, why are we doing this podcast? I have work to do. But at the end of the day, if I look at myself in my life, if I was around someone daily who knew me super well 10 years ago, I've changed dramatically as a person. And the reality is it didn't happen in a moment. It didn't happen in a day because of a situation. It happened day after day of making choices and doing different things. And I'm super excited and proud of the work that I've done and how much I've grown. And while in this moment, recognizing, oh man, I got so much farther to go. And the hope. So the one thing is that, to your point, we want this instant switch to flip and this instant gratification. We want to microwave ourselves into the person we're trying to become. It doesn't work that way. And so we have to give ourselves grace and know, hey, the thing that I want to change about myself today is not going to change tomorrow. But if I take those consistent efforts, consistent watering, consistent light, consistent nurturing, doing the things, in 5 years, I'm going to see that bamboo tree and it's going to happen. And it didn't happen overnight. It actually happened day after day after day. So it's one, give ourselves grace to know it's not happening overnight. Two, be committed and stay with that vision. I love the word used, vision, of that's the vision I'm pursuing. And I'm not there yet. I'm not there today, but damn it, I'm going to keep watering it. I'm going to keep nurturing it. And I know that I will get there.
Yes. Yes, you will. Yes, we will. And let's move on to protect your soil. So I brought in the New Heights podcast episode, me like millions of others. First time I've ever watched or listened to a New Heights episode was when Taylor Swift was on. I'm not a Swiftie. I've never been to a Taylor Swift concert. I don't even have one of her songs in the playlist. Not that I don't like her. I respect, like, or I should spell it out. Like, I should spell out respect because of how much I respect her. And I am excited for all that is happening for her and Travis.
Hang on, can you say respect like that again? I hadn't seen
what respect. Like, wow, like incredible. Like, it's just like the impact that she makes in this world. It's like, if you don't know about that, go look it up. Anyway, so New Heights, I never listened or watched or whatever. David and I think it was like a Friday night, we sat and watched the episode. It's so good. And I think both of us had one of our favorite parts. There's many great parts, but it was around Taylor's challenge to protect your energy, protect your environment. Everything is energy around us. And, we only have so much to give. And if you think about how expensive our energy is, if you really think about it, you would protect it way more, right? And so in this context, we really need to evaluate who and what we let into our environment as our bamboo tree is growing. And I'm turning it over to you, David, because I know you have a lot to share on this one.
You're right. I mean, I feel bad for those who just hate on the episode or, on Taylor Swift because of all the things. It's like, man, they dropped some serious gold in that episode, whether you're a fan or not, just real life, good that was put in that. So definitely with you on that. But, you and I talk about this a lot. Sometimes you're around people or organizations or situations. I mean, I've been in towns that I felt like ruined my energy. I've gotten on meetings that I was fired up. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I have put the work in, and I got on a meeting and I felt my energy crash. And it's like, wait, I worked my butt off to get my energy in a good place. And it's a lot of work to be, motivated, to be fired up, to be excited. And you do that. And then you let an organization or people or situations just drain it from you. It's like, man, your energy truly is too expensive to allow people to steal it from you. And this is something I love about, we're both very intentional about who we give our time to, how we use our time. And man, I have those friends. I mentioned my friend Steve earlier, and not to mention him twice in one episode, but I think of people like him. He's one, and I have many others that there isn't a single time that I'm not with him, that when I get in my car, I'm fired up. I'm either challenged as a father to be a better father. I'm challenged in business. I'm like seeing all these ways that I could be doing it better. I could operate at a higher version of myself. And I'm like, oh man, and it, like, I'm fired up. I'm fueled up. I can't tell you how many times you and I have business conversations or whatever, you're so much more in tune with things that I'm not really in tune with. And then after them, I'm like fired up to explore or learn or whatever. And then, as we talked about, the opposite of those people that, drain that. And so knowing that, listen, you only have so much energy, it is too expensive to let people just drain it from you. And so, I love what you said with that. And the best way to do that is, the top 5 people that you put in your life, that's what you're a sum of, because they're either fueling your energy to be this high energy, high efficient person, or they're draining it to be sputtering and not having much life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do a soil scan. Go and, evaluate all the things from the media you're consuming, the people, and shout out to Steve. Steve, I hear about you all the time. Incredible way to make people better together. The routines that you have, it's really important to do that scan and just realize that just because something served you in one season, a who or a what doesn't mean it's going to serve you now. Like, it has to continue to be great too, right?
Okay.
You could have a person in your life that at
for a season. They were very positive in whatever's going on. It doesn't mean that you're not friends with them for the rest of your life. You just might choose for a certain time that it's time to take a break or whatever. You have to protect your soil, your energy, your environment, all the things around you. Yes. And then finally, we're going to bring it home with David, whose number one strength is positivity. For anyone that knows David, I mean, he will make you feel like you can do anything, because you can do anything, but he makes everything exciting, and truly everything exciting. I mean, just like there's this horrible Kroger that is by us, a grocery store. For those of you that don't have Kroger, or if you do know Kroger, we have a terrible Kroger, and he gets so excited about this Kroger. And I'm like, oh, I can't go in there. But I mean, even that Kroger, he gets excited about. So anyway, number 5 is to celebrate the early sprouts, celebrate the small wins as you go along. And even when you can't see that bamboo tree like popping up right out of the soil yet, there are wins that are happening along the way, like celebrating that you've kept going, keep doing the things. So David, this is where you shine. Tell us about celebrating the little wins and how to do that, and give us your recipe.
Well, thank you. I think don't be knocking my Kroger. I take that personal.
No, I really do look up to like your positive mindset. And it's like, if you could choose positive or not, why wouldn't you choose the positive? But many people have challenges with that, and you're just so natural. So anyways, tell us about the importance of celebrating those early sprouts.
I think I'll just speak for myself, that I think back to the pivotal moments in my life, and, I can think of moments where I doubted, I didn't believe, I thought, man, I'm in a bad place. And it was that person that believed in me, that thought I could, or I'm in the bamboo season, and I'm watering and I'm watering and I'm watering, and, celebrating the small sprouts. It's that person that said, hey, good job. Look, you've got a little sprout. Because when you're in the moment, you're in the arena, that the quote in the arena, or the man in the arena, one of all of our favorite quotes, but you're in the arena and you're doing the thing. And sometimes it's hard to see the little victories because you see the mountain you're trying to climb. And so, man, if you can have that moment of positivity of, hey, look at the improvement. I think of, for example, I talked about my nutrition stuff. If, there are moments where I'll actually talk about today. So, I on this mission this morning, I woke up and I said, I'm going to eat healthy today. I'm going to eat. And we have some chocolate cake in the refrigerator still left from the Cheesecake Factory, and it's still in here, unless somebody ate it. But I woke up this morning, and you know what I thought? I thought, I'm not going to have that chocolate cake. And it's been a super busy day, back to back to back. And I walked upstairs earlier. I had a little break, and I was going to get a little bite to eat. And that chocolate cake, I swear, jumped off of the refrigerator shelf and was like, look at me. And in that moment, I said, no, I'm not. And I made a healthy choice and whatever. And so I'm not saying I won't get through the end of the day and have that chocolate cake, but you got to celebrate the little wins, because if you don't, you're keep looking at the big mountain that you're trying to climb, and it seems like forever before that bamboo tree is going to grow. So celebrate those little wins, because life's too short not to.
Yeah. Well, and a big grocery order got delivered earlier, and I went ahead and threw out that chocolate cake. So you don't even have it as temptation anymore.
Wow. See, that is the bamboo tree shooting up right there. It's growing right now.
I'm actually just joking. I didn't throw it away, but I just agree and say, okay, so for all of you, this is really fun to bring together today, and just to notice your seeds and choose your crop and plant daily intentions and protect your soil and keep watering with the person you want to be daily. Like there's an exercise, define who my best me today is, because every day is different. And we had, some days you're not at 100%, or I don't even know if you're ever at 100, but in today, what is my best self? And it's like that best self daily is the water. I'm choosing to be my best self daily. And just remember, because you don't see the bamboo tree doesn't mean it's not growing, just like that podcast. And it's, that audience and those results are happening. Just stay consistent. And, our Betterment harvest is on the way when we do all those things. So, all right, well, we'll see y'all next time with more great content.
So, you just listened to this episode. Now, join us in being addicted to Betterment. Please subscribe to the show, share with your friends, tag us, and please take a moment, leave a review. Yeah, we do want your stars, but we really want the feedback.